And in this division, everybody fights everybody else. All the champions and top contenders battle each other on a regular basis. What a novel approach. So what's not to like? And even historically, this division has more than had its share of moments. The founding father of the division was Carlos de Leon, who produced exciting fights and 10 title defenses through the 1980s. It felt like he'd be cruiserweight champ forever, except for a fella you may have heard of, Evander Holyfield. In one of the best fights I've ever seen, Holyfield won the title against White Muhammad Qawi, unified it against longtime rival Ricky Parkey, and beat de Leon to become the division's only undisputed champion. While many cruisers followed Holyfield's example and moved up to the more lucrative heavyweight division, one of my favorites moved down. Orland Norris fought 33 times as a heavyweight before downsizing to become an entertaining cruiserweight champ in 1994. In the signature cruiserweight battle of the last decade, James Toney and Vasily Girov competed in the best fight of 2003, with Toney earning the decision. Last year, Marc Mormeck and Wayne Braithwaite brought luster to this division as they sought to unify two of its titles. The action-packed bout was decided by Mormeck's power, setting the stage for tonight's historic match. And in addition, in this cruiserweight division, now that it's 176 pounds up to 200, there's such a big gap there that some of the smaller cruiserweights may have some trouble dealing with the bigger cruiserweights. So a lot of drama in this division now. And this is really a benchmark fight. It's a fight that could go a long way in legitimizing the cruiserweight division if the winner stays put. But that's a big if. For sure. Right? Well, unless there's a draw, tonight our first fight will produce only the second undisputed champion of the 26-year history of the cruiserweight division. Marc Mormeck took the first step toward that distinction last April when he won the WBC belt from Wayne Braithwaite. Before that impressive win, Mormeck was virtually unknown to American fight fans. But you're only as good as your most recent fight, and now Mormeck is viewed as very good. As for IBF champion O'Neal Bell, well, his title fight win over Dale Brown was nowhere near as convincing as Mormeck's triumph over Braithwaite. But Bell has been near the top of the cruiserweight rankings for years, and his big heart and even bigger punch make him a threat to anyone and everyone. The only previous undisputed champion at this weight, you might have heard of him, a fighter named Evander Holyfield unified the title back in 1988. Well, there is irony here. Mormeck has been physically compared to Holyfield. Bell's pro debut was against Holyfield's nephew, and now Bell feels that this has to be a bull versus matador scenario, to dredge up an old boxing expression, for him to win. He, of course, being the matador or the boxer. But is he capable? Well, first of all, we're not going to give him an A for originality on that analogy, but it happens to be pretty accurate, that's for sure, because Marc Mormeck has shown us bull-like rushes in his fights, especially his landmark win over Wayne Braithwaite. But if we think of bulls as one-dimensional and lacking creativity, well, think again, because Mormeck mixes defense and guile in with his aggression, and he's got a command of every single punch you can possibly throw. Now, O'Neal Bell will have to be a clever, busy, and powerful matador, traits he's often but not always shown in his fights. Part of that Bell matador strategy is not laying on the inside with Mormeck. He can throw big punches, but from a distance. His signature punch is the right hand, and Mormeck can be hit with this punch, but it has to be thrown in a straight manner. Bell has an uppercut in his arsenal, and it might be a fight turner. Against Kelvin Davis, another bull, Bell was able to land not one, but two uppercuts in this sequence. And just as impressively finished with the left hook, and this could very well work against Mormeck and produce good results. Mormeck wants to be close, where his strength can do the job. And an early body attack could slow Bell up, and it could also produce one other benefit. It will help Mormeck set up his powerful right hand in what is a battle of right-handed punchers. These body shots debilitated Wayne Braithwaite, and they also lowered his defense. And this would allow a freight train right hand to get in there.
This is a sequence Mormeck hopes for tonight.
And the underdog, Jamaican-born O'Neal Bell, a former state wrestling champ. Very spiritual guy in constant search of his inner self. Uses yoga and meditation in his unorthodox training, which might include fishing and hiking. He purifies, detoxifies, eliminates bad vibes, even changed his nickname from Give 'em Hell to Supernova to sound more positive, but don't be misled. He's a dedicated pro who's worked hard to get here, the biggest fight of his career. Al, he's unbeaten in 25 straight, but 2005 was kind of shaky.
Ironically, it was a year in which he won a world title and defended it, and yet, Steve, you're right in characterizing it as shaky because his win to get the title over Dale Brown was very controversial, and he struggled mightily against Sebastian Rothman before knocking him out in the 11th. But all that may actually point to Bell's main strength, Steve, because he has overcome adversity in many of his matches, and you know what? He believes he can always do it.
Well, he can turn it all around tonight after a rough 2005, even though he won those fights. The thing about O'Neal Bell, while his skills have been questioned, he can punch, and he is resilient, and we'll soon see if it makes a difference versus the overpowering Jean-Marc Mormeck. There he is, O'Neal Bell in the ring. Terrific crowd on hand here to see Bell versus Mormeck in our co-feature at the theater at Madison Square Garden in New York. As for Mormeck, until tonight a rarity in the sport with no intimidating nickname, so the good-natured Frenchman asked American fans to help, and in a Show.com poll, voters selected a name from these 5 choices. All these options were approved by Mormeck, and when ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. introduces him momentarily, everyone, Al, including Jean-Marc, will hear his nickname for the first time.
Can I have a quick vote here?
Sure.
I like Mighty Jean-Marc Mormeck. That's my favorite.
He agrees with you. He also likes Black Thunder. My personal favorite, Hit the Deck. I think the name this guy really wants at the end of the night is Undisputed. And here is the fighter with the distinctive facial hair. And in contrast to Bell, the reserved, low-key Jean-Marc Mormeck, France's first unified world champ. Talk about an identity crisis. Forget America and forget Paris. That's right, they weren't even televising his fights in France until recently. Somebody had a good line, being a cruiserweight and living in France is like being the 5th Beatle. No one really knows who you are. Well, if Mormeck wins and wins big tonight, he'll make some noise. And Al, like his opponent, hasn't lost in 8 years, 28 consecutive wins, but only 1 fight in 05.
Yeah, it's kind of, by the way, I like his formal attire. He's looks better than us. It's been a pattern for him. The fact that he's only fought once here. He fought only once in 2004 and in 2003. He's not happy about the inactivity, and yet despite an occasional slow start, it doesn't impact him very much.
He does look. He's ready for the Academy Awards. Well, when he takes that beautiful formal wear off, he'll look like a finalist in a bodybuilding contest. A guy who thinks outside the box, or in this case the squared circle, has his own management company representing others and his own clothing line. Let's check the numbers as we go to the tail of the tape. At 33, Mormeck is 2 years older than Bell, who turned 31 last week. Bell stands 6 feet, the slight edge in height and in reach. At yesterday's weigh-in, Mormeck almost exactly what he was for Braithwaite, and Bell nearly 12 pounds more than Braithwaite was versus Mormeck. We'll see if that's a factor. And the key unified rules for this contest: no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt causes a fight to end within 4 rounds, it's a no decision. After 4, they go to the cards. If a punch causes a cut and the injured fighter cannot continue, he loses by TKO. So here on America's Fight Night at the theater at Madison Square Garden, getting ready for Jean-Marc Mormeck versus O'Neal Bell for the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship. We get the formal introductions from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the theater at Madison Square Garden in New York City as we have a big night of action coming away, a World Championship doubleheader, and it's all brought to you by Don King Productions in association with Madison Square Garden and Showtime. This unified world title attraction is sanctioned by the WBC President Jose Suleiman, Supervisor Bismarck Morales, the WBA President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Bolivar Icaza, and the IBF President Marian Mohammed. The supervisor is Hiawatha Knight, along with the New York State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Ron Scott Stevens. At this time, we introduce to you our three judges scoring the bout from ringside. From Brick, New Jersey, Tom Kazmarek. From Albany, New York, Tom Schreck. And from Rivervale, New Jersey, Steve Weisfeld. Introducing our third man of the ring, the referee in charge of this bout. He is working in this, his 42nd world title bout, Wayne Kelly. All right, fans, here we go with our co-featured bout of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship of the world. Introducing to you first on my left, the IBF title holder in the blue corner, wearing green trunks with gold trim. He is fighting out of Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Jamaica. He weighed in at 199 1/2 pounds with a record of 25 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. He has 23 big wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the hard-hitting IBF Cruiserweight Champion of the world, introducing O'Neal Supernova Bell. And his opponent across the ring, the WBA and WBC title holder in the red corner, wearing black trunks and joining us from Pantin, France. He weighed in at 197 3/4 pounds. His record stands at 31 wins, 2 losses, with 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the first and only Frenchman to hold a unified title. Here is the WBA and WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the world, by popular demand, known as the Marksman, introducing Jean-Marc Mormeck. Once again, a referee in charge, Wayne Kelly, now to give instructions. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled.
Jean-Marc O'Neal with boxing for the Unification Cruiserweight Championship of the world. I expect a clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Shake hands, come out boxing at the bell. Good luck, 12 rounds. Back to your corner, back to your corner.
Well, the marksman, as we just found out, has to be the best dressed fighter in boxing. You don't want to be on the inside versus the physically imposing Mormeck, a style predicated on strength, pressure, durability. He's got a very good chin.
Second down.
And because of Bell's size, he told us he'll be able to handle the pressure of Mormeck better than did Braithwaite. Bell, a dangerous hitter with either hand, but the right is his signature punch, and he's been known to change fights instantly. The general feeling this could start out as a boxing match and break into a fight. The question is when.
And the interesting thing is they're both really slow starters. They both had issues early in fights in their major fights. So we'll see which man can get off better. Right now, it's O'Neal Bell.
Bell said he would lay off, stay away, and box at least on the outset. He doesn't know what's going to happen after that. Throwing the jab. Mormeck in the black trunks. Bell in the green with the gold trim. Bell getting in some nice right hands upstairs.
And
a right uppercut by Mormeck that just missed.
Steve, it's interesting. Already early, though, we see O'Neal Bell right on the inside with Jean-Marc Mormeck. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to be languishing in there already. He's pretty much making this a slugfest right from the beginning.
He's being very aggressive, chopping rights and lefts to the head of Mormeck. Maybe he was just using that as a clever ruse, a ploy to throw people off, throw the scent off.
And remember, we saw Wayne Braithwaite fight just this way and do very well early against Mormeck.
And we know what happened there. O'Neal Bell, a suspect in questionable technical skills. He has his skeptics. The controversial fight with Dale Brown didn't help. But he's roared back to win. Ask Sebastian Rothman, who was knocked out in the 11th. Kelvin Davis, who dropped Bell but lost by TKO. Wayne Kelly, the third man of the ring.
Yeah, Steve, it's a good point. This is a fight in which please don't make any snap judgments as we go along, because the plot could have many twists and turns with these two boxers.
And both of them starting a lot faster than usual. You pointed out that they are not fast starters, but this is an aberration.
Absolutely. Well, Bell forced the pace, and there's that uppercut from O'Neal Bell. Look at him. He knows, and we talked about that in the keys. He knows that's a punch that can work against Jean-Marc Mormeck. They're already opening up in this first round with a lot of the different tools that they have available.
And Mormeck is hittable. Well, we wondered when would it break into a fight. How about the first round?
Yeah.
And Mormeck really going to work. Good shots to the chin of Bell. Oh, a big left hand. It snaps Bell's head back on the ropes. A lot of action here in the opening round. 20 seconds remaining. Terrific flurry by Jean-Marc Mormeck, who will be the first undisputed cruiserweight champ since Evander Holyfield in 1988. Unless it's a draw, that'll be decided tonight.
Time!
Talk to me.
Move to your left.
Talk to me.
Move to your left. I want you to move to your left. Take a left, throw a straight right hand down the center. Don't stay in and bang with him.
Now, O'Neal Bell against the ropes, a place he doesn't want to be against Mormeck. Look how Mormeck goes to the body, and that sets up punches to the head. He, too, has a great uppercut, which he threw. And look at those combinations. Those are creative combinations from Jean-Marc Mormeck. It's so wrong to think he's a one-dimensional, bullish fighter. He has a lot of different weapons at his disposal. And as a look from the top shows you Mormeck pushing Bell back, pressuring him against the ropes. Whenever O'Neal Bell gets against the ropes, he has issues, as did Wayne Braithwaite in the fight we saw last year.
And it was on the ropes in close quarters where O'Neal Bell really struggled in his last fight with Sebastian Rothman. How about that shot by Mormeck? Bell's just going to have to land big punches to keep Mormeck off of him. But as we pointed out, he cannot be on the ropes. Once the powerful Mormeck pins you, as Al mentioned, he did against Braithwaite, he really has the physical advantage, and he has that very attack on the inside. Oh, a smacking left hand, and another left by Mormeck to the head.
No hold, no hold.
Bell has pinned a lot of his hopes on the uppercut on the inside, which is a good idea. He has to be very careful to not throw that punch too far out, because he'll get countered and hurt by Mormeck.
Oh, great combination to the head by Mormeck. There goes the mouthpiece of O'Neal Bell on an uppercut to the chin that went flying into the seats. Wayne Kelly waiting for a stop of the action so they can replace the mouthpiece.
Time! Let's go! O'Neal, over here! Let's get that mouthpiece in.
So who's a slow starter again?
Wow.
They have been, but not tonight.
Jean-Marc Mormeck and O'Neal Bell getting right to the action. A left hand that just missed by Mormeck, a glancing blow.
Now, Bell has been down in a couple of important fights early against Arthur Williams in round 1, against Kelvin Davis in round 2, so he has struggled in fights. But as Steve pointed out, in fights like the Rothman fight, he can come back. He's got tremendous heart.
4 times he's had knockouts in the 11th round, O'Neal Bell. So maybe let's just fast forward to the 11th and see what happens.
He would like that.
He sure would.
You know what else is on display early in this fight? The fact that Marc Mormeck, a better defensive fighter than some people give him credit for. He covers, he blocks a lot of those shots. They don't land flush. And we see his body punching at evidence there.
Mormeck with power in both hands, but a key weapon is the left hook. We've already seen it on display. Just keeps that pressure on. He crowds you.
O'Neal Bell strategically doing exactly what he said he wouldn't do. Nice right hand by Bell. And, you know, we got a hint of that when he suggested that his trainers are the one that said he really should be the matador to the bull and that he just assumed get in there and battle it out. Well, he's doing it, and he's losing the battle of the uppercuts on the inside.
Now Bell doing a good job of sticking and moving.
No holding. Step back.
Mormeck missing with most of those attempts. Mormeck also has a very good right hand, but it's Bell. Back comes Mormeck. And again, not where you want to be for Bell on the ropes. But he turns him around and clubs him on the top of the head. Boy, a high work rate in this fight. A lot of punches being thrown.
See off, baby.
This.
Well, Bell has a nice uppercut, but so does Marc Mormeck. And when you lean in against a fighter the short size of Mormeck, you're asking for this kind of trouble. The mouthpiece just flying into the second row. A great uppercut by Marc Mormeck. And O'Neal Bell spending way too much time against the ropes in this fight. We saw Wayne Braithwaite in this position, and of course, Marc Mormeck makes it happen by pushing in. Look at the body shots. And the more you counter off the ropes, and Bell did, the more it makes Marc Mormeck go after you.
Let's go, second down.
This is this fight. All the dramas we thought would be acted out in this fight, Steve, over the first 2 rounds have been acted out.
Okay.
So where do we go from here? It has been a busy, torrid pace over the first 2 rounds. Round 3 scheduled for 12 for the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship. Marc Mormeck holds 2 belts, BA and BC. O'Neal Bell, the IBF. Mormeck in the black trunks, 31-2 with 21 knockouts. O'Neal Bell, 25-1-1 with 23 KO.
O'Neal Bell slapping a little bit with some of his punches on the inside, and that is diminishing some of the power. And you can't get away with that against Mormeck.
Big body shot by Mormeck, and he continues to land to the midsection. Well, these are just 2 tanks going at it. And now in the center of the ring,
Watch your heads in there.
toe to toe.
Keep him up.
Now, Bell told us that while Braithwaite, who weighed 187 when he fought Mormeck, couldn't handle the pressure. He said, I'm 199. He said, I'm almost a heavyweight. I'll be able to deal with this constant pressure from Mormeck. We'll see.
So far, but you wonder if the cumulative effect is going to wear him down eventually. And that's perhaps what Mormeck is banking on.
O'Neal Bell very busy in this round and probably landing more punches. That was an illegal move.
No
Shoulder.
man. Come on, you know better than that. You all right?
Getting the caution from Wayne Kelly. Braithwaite, Mormeck, who's been very busy, fires away, misses. He was not very busy last year as a fighter. The only fight was with Braithwaite. And he is just continuing to pound away to the body and then goes upstairs. Mormeck.
No punch.
The interesting thing about Mormeck is not only are his body punches used to debilitate his opponent, they always end up setting up something to the head. So, it's a dual purpose. Boy, he can throw those shots.
He's really one of the best kept secrets.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And as you pointed out, even in France, they weren't televising his fight.
Even in his homeland.
Now, this is an interesting round. Mormeck has landed the harder punches, but O'Neal Bell has been busier in terms of numbers thrown. So it'll be interesting to see how the judges look at this.
Bell just leaning on Mormeck now. And sometimes that can wear you out. Or wear out Mormeck. But Mormeck comes battling back.
And I think he's stunned O'Neal Bell.
Some tough shots. And it was Mormeck with his back to the ropes. There's an uppercut and a left hand. Beautiful combination to the head by Mormeck. And that really weakened Bell.
Step back, step back.
And big punches like that at the end of the round usually mean you have won the round.
Another straight right hand by Mormeck. A left hand up to the chin by Mormeck. What a finish by the Frenchman.
When you pin him down like that, step around and you find your sit down. He tired on it. He tired.
Sit down. Listen to me. Come on. No, I won't.
I'm okay. I feel better this way.
You feel good that way. Look here. I want you to step around and die. Don't look for shot. Bang, bang, and step around. Bang, bang, move left. Throw the 1-2 down the center. When you're in that, this, that.
You know, the variety of punches Mormeck is using in this fight, very impressive. And the left hook, which we didn't think would be a major weapon for him, it has been. And then the uppercut came right after it. What we see is just a variety of punches, straight jab. In all these sequences, you see everything from Mormeck. He even got tangled up in the ropes. Still, Bell couldn't quite take advantage of it. And the hook has been, I think, the one big surprise for Mormeck. It's been landing much more than we would have anticipated during the course of this fight.
Very impressive by Jean-Marc Mormeck in the black trunks as we enter round 4, scheduled for 12 for the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship.
No holding.
Bell holding and hitting. If he can just, oh, what a short, crisp left hand to the chin by Mormeck on the inside. A right uppercut by Mormeck. Bell comes firing back, but then just a jab by Mormeck sends Bell back.
This is a fight that is worthy of having an undisputed champion. They are putting everything on the line. We're into the 4th round, and already we've seen a good skill level and lots of action.
Tremendous activity. If Bell can only get Mormeck to the late rounds, perhaps he's thinking, because Mormeck has been inconsistent in that area. Oh, big right hand by Mormeck. That snapped Bell's head back. Bell in trouble in the corner. He's got to get away from the ropes. Well, he gets Wayne Kelly to help him.
Boy, that was a break for O'Neal Bell. A little holding and hitting by Bell as well.
Little desperation here by Bell. He has felt the wrath, the power, but then he comes right back with a pair of right hands.
This is the charm of O'Neal Bell as a fighter. Every fight is filled with drama and adversity for him. And yet he hangs in there. Can he against Mormeck?
Bell showing a lot of heart. Bell has been down by his account about 6 or 7 times. Last time down he was dropped by Dale Brown 2 fights ago in the 4th, but the ref ruled it was after the bell. Mormeck's never been down, only in the amateurs.
And remember against Sebastian Rothman, as you pointed out in his first defense of the IBF title, he was way behind, had many issues, and came back in that fight. So he has tremendous resiliency. And even now, even though he's not landing a lot of those punches, he's firing back against Mormeck.
Mormeck firing as well. What a spiraling left hand to the stomach by Mormeck.
Keep him up right now.
It has been non-stop action from the opening bell as Bell goes into a crouch. Again. Gets a rise from the crowd.
Well, he's an unorthodox guy in the way he trains. He's a little unorthodox in the ring right there. He's been very busy in this round, O'Neal Bell, but again, Mormeck landing the harder punches. So, interesting round to score.
Mormeck outworking Bell.
Whoa. Keep him up. Keep him up.
Well, Mormeck doesn't speak English, but he speaks boxing. He understood. Eric Ramy in the Mormeck corner, our translator.
Excellent, great.
De relâchement que j'aime, ok? On va attaquer là. Tu relâches, t'accélères. Force-toi à ça. Ok, j'aime?
Good. Release your punches.
Non, n'en mets plus parce que là, il faut que j'y mette de la base, il ne bouge plus. C'est très bon ça, Jean-Marc.
Relâche, accélère. Relâche, accélère.
The pressure of Mormeck continues to have a very adverse effect to Bell, and this was a very dangerous position for Bell, not just against the ropes, but in the corner, where very hard for him to get out of the way. Now, a lot of those punches didn't land, even though it looked more, O'Neal Bell indicating they didn't land, but still, there were some that got in by Mormeck.
There is a cocky side to O'Neal Bell as well. We saw it in the Dale Brown fight, perhaps a little overconfident in that fight, why he had some difficulty there.
Very controversial win over Dale Brown. But we see in this fight, O'Neal Bell, there's a good jab in the straight right hand. He would be so much better served to stay on the outside, Bell. From this posture, he's got a better shot at landing the jab, the right hand. Look at how he mixes in the hook. And a little movement against Mormeck goes a long way.
He's going to have to use movement and guile against a powerhouse, a thoroughbred like Mormeck.
Now, this is also a very small ring, about less than 20 feet, which doesn't work in the favor of O'Neal Bell in terms of this movement. But look at this round. We're right close to a minute into this round, and O'Neal Bell has, at least for this portion, used the strategy he talked about.
Yeah, it's an 18-foot ring. Great uppercut on the inside by Mormeck, which has been a very valuable weapon for him throughout the night.
I think the problem for O'Neal Bell is he can't sustain that. And that score happens to completely agree with mine. I have it 39-37 as well. That's the unofficial. Yeah.
Unanimous to Mormeck after 4. Chuck Johnson from the USA Today, Greg Leon, BoxingTalk.com, Franklin McNeil, the Newark Star Ledger, our press row scorers. Low blow.
Well, not the first time that this has happened.
We were just talking about it. It happened in the...
Take your hands. You feel all right? You got a little bit of time, 5 minutes to recover. You want to go now? All right. Time in!
Happened in the Rothman fight. Well, Mormeck just takes a few seconds. He has up to 5 minutes if he wants.
Big mistake. Twice against Rothman, he was penalized for low blows on O'Neal Bell, and once against Kelvin Davis. So that's not an isolated incident.
And perhaps adding to it, frustration setting in for Bell. Now he's clowning around a little.
But you know, this is round 5, in which he's done the right thing. He's probably winning this round, and he stayed away from the power of Mormeck.
Bell using everything, shoulders, elbows, whatever he can do. And get the edge.
And you know, Steve, the movement of Bell is now making those left hooks by Mormeck short, and they're not quite getting there.
Bell's a tough guy, I tell you. Just invited Mormeck in.
And again, languishing on those ropes, not the place to be. All of a sudden, though, Mormeck is pushing his punches a little bit. This is an important round for O'Neal Bell. He's gotten himself back in the fight at a point where it looked like he was in danger of really slipping into a deep abyss.
And then holding when he can so as not to allow Mormeck to do damage on the inside. But Mormeck is with the left hand primarily. And a right uppercut. Well, these are really vicious body shots by Jean-Marc Mormeck. And then a right hand just before the bell by Bell.
Have a seat, sir.
O'Neal, keep the punches up. Right? I know.
Okay. O'Neal, I want you to box him.
O'Neal Bell set the tone for what was his best round of the fight by staying on the outside, throwing punches, then slight lateral movement, throwing punches, back, and movement. He's not standing right in front of him. He continues to move. He goes back. He kept the distance. But later in the round, we will see a low blow as he's on the inside. And I mean, that was low. And as I pointed out, not the first time that has happened for O'Neal Bell. It's journalistically accurate to report it. We're not saying that he's a dirty fighter, but he's been penalized for that in the past.
Well, there's no question he's had a history.
Yeah, but we didn't see any indication there was a penalty for that.
So round 6 scheduled for 12 for the undisputed cruiserweight title. The Frenchman Jean-Marc Mormeck in the black trunks, 31-2, 21 knockouts, has been in control. O'Neal Bell in the green with gold, being warned about hitting behind the head. 25-1-1, 23 KO. Mormeck 5'11", 197 3/4. Bell 6 feet, 199 1/2. Nice right hand, but it just clipped Bell on the chin. Didn't have full impact. Bell moving back just in the nick of time.
And we see in this round, round 6, more movement from Bell, combinations. So this is the strategy we anticipated from the beginning from him. And despite that great success by Mormeck early, Bell's still able to do this.
Yeah, Bell hanging tough. Just trying to get this fight as deep as he can, because Mormeck has had some fatigue problems as fights have gone late, and Bell seems to come on better in the later rounds.
And we have confirmed that there was not a point deducted because of that low blow.
So, yeah, it's just a warning, but he's coming close.
Yes, good body work. This is a superb round again for O'Neal Bell. Mormeck, honestly, slowing his work rate perceptibly. Nice right by Mormeck, and he waves Bell in, but will Bell take the bait?
And remember, Bell, a guy who can change a fight with one punch. He can turn things around instantly. But speaking of being turned around, Mormeck turned Bell around.
One of the keys I had was good body work early by Mormeck. Well, boy, has he done it. Now, the question is, what impact will it have on O'Neal Bell as this fight goes on? Because in truth, it's been Mormeck who's looked a little tired.
Both are so physically strong. Bell is somewhat awkward, which can work to his advantage. It might be bothering Mormeck, who just landed with a right cross.
We said this would be a battle of the right hands. Well, in the last 30 seconds, finally in this fight, it was. This is an excellent fight. This is really a great fight.
Bell may have lost his mouthpiece again, and I'm not sure the referee is aware.
And Jean-Marc Mormeck now going to town on O'Neal Bell. And he has made this a close round again. It was one Bell was controlling.
Final seconds, round 6. And a good round, comeback style for Bell.
He lost his mouthpiece.
Love you, baby. Love you, baby.
Look, let me tell you something.
Looking good.
I want this guy.
On my face, on my face.
Listen,
What's on my face?
he is covering up.
Come on, man, on my face.
You know, he's covering up his body. Work. But I want you to hit this hand. Get them shot. Run them shot. Run them shot. Run that. You got me.
Yes, sir.
You know. And I want you to keep them hands out there. And box him from the distance.
Allez, grosse respiration. Benjamin, fais attention à ces gens seulement. Hein. Ne reste pas dans sa ligne de mire. Bon, ça c'est beau ce que tu fais.
Okay, you're doing a beautiful job. It's good work you're doing. Great work. Okay, go get him.
Round 7 scheduled for 12 for the undisputed cruiserweight title. No knockdowns thus far. O'Neal Bell coming on a little bit now after Mormeck controlled the first 5 rounds or so. Mormeck just missing with the uppercut. He scored with the lefts. Mormeck just hammers away. Mormeck breathing deeply. And all of a sudden, things have slowed considerably. The pace was so quick earlier. And I think Mormeck, I don't know, maybe running out of gas a little, or he's just trying to conserve his energy and trying to Well, you know, got a second win.
Against Wayne Braithwaite, remember, he tired in the later rounds, and he also did it in his second fight with Virgil Hill, in which he ended up winning a decision. So there have been fights, and now he's getting whacked around and hurt by Bell.
Yeah, he is. Remember, he's never been down as a pro. O'Neal Bell jumping all over Mormeck as this thing has really turned around.
We talked about the resiliency of Bell, and he's showing it.
A series of right hands to the head by Bell.
Step back, step back.
Oh, Mormeck's in trouble.
Yeah, he's stepping back. He's exhausted. He's run out of gas. And he's accepting body shots. Oh, then he comes back with a wicked combination to the head. Mormeck with tape flying from his left glove. But here comes Bell again. Amazing give and take.
They should be stopping this for the tape, even though it would hurt Bell if they did it.
The ropes may be holding Mormeck up here. Bell misses with a right. Lining it up with a right hand. Mormeck trapped up against the ropes. Wayne Kelly trying to get in there at a strategic time with that tape flailing away. Bell doing all the hitting. Nothing happening for Mormeck.
Kelly's waiting for a lull in the action. It hasn't happened.
Then Mormeck says, come on back to Bell. He invites him in again. A lot of machismo here.
I can't believe Wayne Kelly's not stopping this to get that tape ripped off.
He's letting the action go. Less than 30 seconds left in the second. Now he finally steps in.
No,
he didn't.
Astonishing.
He didn't stop it to fix the tape. Oh, what a left hand by Mormeck. And he comes out of nowhere. With his hands down low. Back comes Bell now. Oh, what an ebb and flow. Tremendous round. Round 7, early candidate for round of the year.
Fix that thing right. Make him fix it right. Now.
They are standing at the theater.
O'Neal Bell started out this round blazing. He landed a couple of clubbing right hands. That's what hurt Mormeck. And you know, they landed in the back on the back of the head around the temple, which I think affected Mormeck's equilibrium. And then he was having a very hard time figuring out how to defend himself against O'Neal Bell. But Jean-Marc Mormeck, give him big marks for courage and resiliency. Those were two tremendous shots he just hit O'Neal Bell with. That left hook was right on the button, and Bell kept coming. And the last part of this round was as exciting as it gets. Mormeck in trouble, we thought, against the ropes, and yet even though Bell would land shots, Mormeck did as well.
And now we enter round 8, coming off a spectacular round. Scheduled for 12 with the undisputed cruiserweight title, and as Al pointed out, worthy of such.
There's the uppercut from Bell, but all of a sudden Mormeck now throwing his punches in a more crisp fashion and with more power.
Well, let's see if Mormeck has caught his breath, but O'Neal Bell once again pinning Mormeck into the corner. Bell really coming on the last few rounds after it looked like he was in serious trouble.
Interesting thing is we talked about Bell not languishing on the ropes. It's Mormeck who's been doing that for the most part, and that's because of fatigue. There's no question.
And he just keeps inviting more trouble when he says to Bell, come on in. But he's exhausted.
What Bell needs to do, though, is stay his distance, throw his punches, but not languish on the inside. That's where Mormeck can hit him with those hooks, uppercuts, and kind of clubbing right hands. Bell asked for that. He came inside. No reason to do it. Look at Mormeck.
And the guts, the heart of Bell, he's taking some hellacious shots by Mormeck.
That's been the hallmark of his career, as you pointed out, in trouble in a number of fights, down at least 7 times in his career. He finds a way to hang around, hang in there until he can get the job done.
He's only lost once in 27 fights.
It's amazing when you consider how many perils of Pauline he goes through in every fight.
Oh, a heavy right hand by Mormeck that drove Bell back. He bounces off the ropes. seems to have gotten a little more wind back. And a right hand over the top by Mormeck.
Close round, this 8th round. This is a round that could go either way.
The gap closing in this fight. As Bell has turned it around. Bell 2-0 in world title fights. Mormeck 5-0.
Now Bell using that movement again that he used earlier and pot-shotting from the outside against Mormeck. So O'Neal Bell may be cementing this round for himself unless he gets caught, which he might here.
Bell was on rubbery legs earlier in the fight, the first few rounds, but survived.
Wait! Step back. Step back. Time.
Well, still to come from New York City, our main event. It'll be Brooklyn's Zab Judah coming home to meet the top WBC contender Carlos Baldomir. Here is the undisputed welterweight champ. Cutting out all the potential distractions of fighting in his hometown, and also the many looming mega fights being mentioned. Tough not to get caught up in all of that. Nevertheless, he says he's fully prepared for Baldomir, not overlooking him. A guy who hasn't lost in 19 straight, Baldomir. Can Baldomir catch Judah looking too far ahead? Stay tuned. We'll soon find out. Judah, Baldomir, our main event for the undisputed welterweight crown. Round 9, Mormeck gazing into the crowd.
You know, this is, yeah, really, it's interesting. This is where you wonder about the one fight per year for Jean-Marc Mormeck. He's not happy about that inactivity, but this is where you wonder if he can retain his sharpness over the course of time with that kind of schedule.
And he's got his hand in so many things now, a management company, a clothing company. You wonder if that serves as a distraction.
O'Neal Bell, promoted by the Warriors promotion down in Florida. They're connected, big right hand by Mormeck. They're connected with the Seminole tribe. Carlos Baldomir, we're going to see in the next fight, promoted by the Siquan tribe in California. It's a new trend in boxing. These fighters promoted by some of the Native American casino organizations.
And now how ironic it would be if O'Neal Bell becomes the first undisputed cruiserweight champ since Holyfield, because his first win was over Evander's nephew. A first-round TKO in Atlanta back in 1998. Bell's first fight as a pro.
Yeah, and an Atlanta resident, so he's and Holyfield has been with him on occasion. Now, in this round, there's a shot by Mormeck that went a little bit low to O'Neal Bell.
Yeah, you saw the grimace by Bell. Bell, who used to drive a UPS truck in Atlanta, a former state wrestling champ in Delaware, born in Jamaica but hasn't been there since the early 90s, hasn't been back to Jamaica, says he's got to get back soon.
This is maybe the only round in the fight in which I think you can say these fighters are trying to take a little time off to get there, even though it's still an active pace for most normal fights. For this one, it's been a little less frenetic.
Let him go. Step back.
Less than a minute remaining in round 9. There's the press row scoring. Chuck Johnson has it all even now with this comeback by Bell. Greg Leon has Bell up by 2, and McNeil has it even as well.
I've got it 77-76 for Bell. I had one even round, so I'm in. So far, for all us unofficial scores, we're pretty much in line with each other.
The real judges are Tommy Kasparek from Brick, New Jersey, Tom Schreck from Albany, New York, Steve Weisfeld from Rivervale, New Jersey.
O'Neal Bell having a pretty good 9th round. He's been very active. And I think outworking Mormeck, although there's that big uppercut in the inside from Mormeck.
A corkscrew uppercut to the chin by Jean-Marc Mormeck. Mormeck just standing on the ropes, finishes with a left hand.
That's good. That's good.
Doucement, respire.
Okay, breathe, breathe, have something to drink. Release the oxygen.
He is into yoga and meditation and that kind of stuff to get himself prepared for these fights.
Again, though, languishing on the inside with Mormeck. That gives Mormeck a chance. From the outside, especially a tired Mormeck, and we think he is a little more fatigued than Bell, has a harder time.
Well, this could spell trouble for Mormeck, who started off so nicely in this fight the first 5 or so rounds, but it's O'Neal Bell who gets better as fights wear on, and Mormeck usually doesn't.
Big shots in the inside there by Mormeck.
Oh, a big right hand. A right cross to the head by Bell.
He's landing that short chopping right on the side of the head, and it's impacting Mormeck.
Mormeck looks like he's got some unsteady legs.
And you know, Bell has gone to the body more in the last couple of rounds, which his corner urged him to do, James Plenty, and it's been effective.
I think now, Al, that Mormeck is arm punching and isn't getting it from the legs.
That sequence right there is the right sequence for O'Neal Bell. He landed 2 more shots, step back. Don't languish on the inside, at least from his standpoint with Mormeck, because that is what can happen to you.
Bell goes right back to it. Going to the body, hard shots by Bell, then a right uppercut on the chin by O'Neal Bell. Another right uppercut that was blocked by Mormeck.
This is great action on the inside, and again, they are in this corner. When Bell stays on the inside, it gives Mormeck at least an opportunity.
Now Bell dancing away momentarily to set up. Takes Mormeck back to the center, but Mormeck keeps going backwards. He backpedals to the ropes for some reason.
See how Bell got suckered in to come in there. And there's no reason for him to stay on the inside and engage Mormeck that way. Stay on the outside and jab and throw the right and then step back.
Look at Mormeck. He just keeps going back to the ropes. He's got to be tired. That's the only reason he could be doing that.
I agree. And Bell is winning this round, I believe, but he still puts himself in harm's way when he does that.
Mormeck just needs something to lean on.
I think you're right, Steve. He's a tired fighter right now.
As we approach 30 seconds left in round 10, Bell smacking Mormeck all over the place. There goes Mormeck's mouthpiece. And Mormeck's in trouble. Bell smothering him. He goes down for the first time in his career. Crumbles to the canvas. I don't think he's going to make it. Wayne Kelly waves it out. It's over. It's over. Jean-Marc Mormeck on the canvas, and O'Neal Bell is the undisputed cruiserweight champ, the first since Holyfield. A come-from-behind victory for O'Neal Bell. What else is new? And they're taking every precaution, thank goodness, for the safety of Jean-Marc Mormeck. They don't want him to get up so fast. Keeping him on his back. There's no rush to get him up there. There was some very hard shots to the head, and they are being very, very cautious with Mormeck, taking no chances.
And at the end, a punch on the top of the head had an impact on him.
And the celebratory O'Neal Bell. We'll talk about dramatic contrast.
Things I told him yesterday. I want to see if he laughs. Nah, come come on, I'm joking.
Well, of course, this is a good sign that he's talking. Coherent.
Please tell me something when you see me. Don't dodge me.
Now finally able to make a move. They want to get him on the stool. So he's able to sit up and now stand and sit down on the stool. The doctors will check him out. Almost certainly he'll be taken to the hospital. Anytime there's a knockout, they take a fighter to the hospital just for precautionary reasons.
Where's the guy that? Just tell him I want to watch him walk, okay? Just have him stand up.
Well, Jean-Marc Mormeck has never been knocked out. A passel full of belts for O'Neal Bell, and here is how he got them. Bell on the inside. That was a tremendous right hand. And you'll see Mormeck as he's going down here get clubbed. Great uppercut, clubbed on the top of the head a couple of times. He's way low. And Bell doing a very good job, by the way, of picking his shots. Very accurate with those punches, hitting what's available to him. And in retrospect, looking at this, he got it with some major punches. And that punch at the end on the back of the head was a dangerous one for Mormeck.
He looked like he was short-circuited, Mormeck, on his way to the canvas. And Kelly hardly even counted.
The impressive part of this sequence, I think, for O'Neal Bell, as we look at it again, is how accurate he was with his punches, how he picked his spots, and for the most part didn't rush his punches. He's weighing his options here and looking to hit Mormeck. Mormeck getting very low, which made him a tough target. That's why some of those punches landed on the back and top of the head, which of course is more dangerous. And that right hand may have been the one that really did in Mormeck, and then that right hand on the top of the head, obviously dangerous. But we talked about O'Neal Bell's resiliency. He had some hellaciously bad rounds early in this fight, but he does not give up. He doesn't lose his poise in fights, and he can come back to do what he ended up doing here tonight and giving himself a chance at celebration.
A glorious victory for O'Neal Bell. He told us his intention was to bring limelight to the cruiserweight division, but he'd like to see bigger paydays, of course, at cruiser. But you never know. He could always give in to the temptation of the heavyweight division, particularly with the current diluted state.
If every fight that the cruiserweights would have is like this one as a championship fight, who wouldn't want to see them and who wouldn't pay more money?
It has really gained momentum the last year or so because of the fact that the best is fighting the best, and they have been action fights. Good to see a smile on the face of Mormeck after he went down. The show of sportsmanship here between Bell and Mormeck. So let's get the official word from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time. 2 minutes, 50 seconds in round number 10. He is the winner by way of knockout. And now the cruiserweight champion of the world, O'Neal Supernova Bell.
So Bell raises his record to 26-1-1, 24 knockouts. Mormeck slips to 31-3, his first loss since 1997, snapping a 28-fight win streak. And O'Neal Bell becomes the second undisputed cruiserweight champ since the division was created back in 1980. It's Bell and Holyfield who went on, of course, to become undisputed heavyweight champion. Well, if he does stay at cruiser, some feel he should give Dale Brown a rematch given the closest of their fight last year. Coming up next from the Madison Square Garden Theater here in New York City, our main event. Yeah, this is the start of our 20.
This division. What are your thoughts right now?
It feels great. I got to give glory to the Most High because without him, I would not be here. In the hard struggles, I thank those who made it hard for me. But it's an honor. It's an honor just to go down in history with Holyfield. Seriously, I can't say no more.
How much has Holyfield helped you, being from Atlanta, having fought there and having seen him on so many occasions?
Well, he wasn't there in the physical presence, but spiritually, I read up on him. You know, he was there in spirit. I'm thriving off of his momentum, his accomplishment. I can never fit in the shoes of Holyfield, seriously, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying.
O'Neal, what changed the complexion of this bout? It seemed as though you had given up the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then you came to life and got stronger. What changed the complexion of this bout in your mind?
Okay, if you say I was losing the first round, my strategy, well, I told you
I'm not saying you were losing. It just it was the apparent that you got stronger as the fight went on.
Exactly. On one more condition, like I said, it's a war of attrition. Who's in better shape? Who has the willingness to win? You know, he folded. He started folding in the 5th and 6th round. You know, I kept the pressure on. The man's supposed to be a bull. He's backing up against the ropes. I dominated him throughout the whole fight.
Tell us about the 7th round where you really did dominate. It looked as though you might knock him out in the 7th round.
I thought I was going to knock him out, but he was stronger than I expected. He lasted 2 tremendous straight right hand, right in his jaw, right in the center of his head. You know, I commend him for that. It's not too many people can hold up to a straight right hand, especially delivered by Supernova, baby.
Supernova. O'Neal, let's take a look at the knockout as we look over here at the monitor. Tell us what happens here as you go through the 10th round.
Okay, well, I'm working the body. I'm looking for the head right there, the jaw. He gave it to me clean. He's been open the whole night with a straight right hand to the jaw. Behind the ear, it's a legal shot, uppercut all day. He folded. The willingness to win, he's gone, you know. And then he turned the back of his head to me. I had no other course but to go ahead and take the advantage and take him out, you know. Protect yourself at all times, which he did. He was out.
And he did not get up. Was there ever any time in this fight, O'Neal, where you were in trouble?
I wasn't in trouble, but he landed a tremendous hook to the body. You know, I folded on it, but I had to play it off. Hey, it's a war of attrition. I had to play the game. You know what I'm saying? It hurt, but I didn't show it as well. You know what I'm saying? I was able to persevere and keep on going. Big Don, keep doing it, baby. With you, I got the exposure, for real.
We're going to do it.
All right.
And what exactly will you do from here?
Hey, if it's Team Cunningham, mandatory, move up to heavyweight, wherever.
Move up to heavyweight, so you want to follow that path as well?
I want to follow this path, but I definitely want to make a tremendous impact in the cruiserweight division to get the 1.5s, you know what I mean? So I'm going to keep trying, defend my title. I love defending my title. Read the record. I've always defended my title successfully, no matter what the opposition is. So I'm not ducking and dodging anyone. I love to fight. I love this game.
And would Mormeck possibly get a rematch?
Hey, I told him, Mormeck, you can get a rematch anytime. He's a tremendous champion. I'm saying, I like fighting the man, for real. He was a strong bull.
All right, let's bring him in. Stick with us for just a moment, O'Neal. We'll have Eric Ramy will be our interpreter here. First of all, how are you? Are you okay?
Comment est-ce que vous sentez maintenant?
Normalement un peu déçu, c'est normal puisque je viens de perdre mes ceintures, donc c'est forcément je suis déçu, mais bien physiquement.
Obviously I'm a bit upset because I've lost my belt, but I'm feeling all right.
You seem to have control of this fight in the early rounds. What happened? What changed? Did you run out of steam?
On a vu que vous contrôlez les premiers rounds. Qu'est-ce qui t'est arrivé avec vous un petit peu plus tard?
Ben, je ne pourrais pas l'expliquer. Si je le savais, franchement, j'aurais pu remédier à ça. Après, O'Neal Bell a fait preuve de... il a prouvé qu'il était aussi un grand champion et qu'il fallait croire en lui. Maintenant, moi, je suis désolé pour moi, mais bon, il a gagné.
If I had the answer for that, I would be happy to tell you. But at a certain point, I realized that he was a great champion, and he did win this fight.
A lot of people are going to wonder if your mind was diverted because you haven't fought much. Was there some ring rust, and are you too involved in your own management and your clothing company and other things other than boxing?
Le temps que vous avez depuis votre dernière bout, est-ce que vous avez d'autres choses dans votre vie, d'autres business qui peut-être à vous distraire de ce bord aussi ce soir?
Non, ouais, j'ai ma société de management, une société de vêtements, mais bon, j'ai perdu un combat, j'ai pas perdu la guerre, donc je vais revenir et je vais reboxer, c'est pas un problème.
Yes, I do have my other businesses, but I just lost one battle. I have not lost the war, and I will be back.
He said he would fight you again. Would you like a rematch? In English, rematch?
Est-ce que vous voulez faire un autre combat avec lui?
Après, c'est lui qui décide. C'est vrai que maintenant, il est le champion, c'est lui qui décide. Je ne sais pas ce qui a été signé, mais bon, s'il veut faire un rematch, avec plaisir. Mais peut-être que ce serait à sa défaveur.
Since he is the champion now, it is his decision for the rematch, but yes, I would be happy to rematch.
Congratulations. We hope you're okay. You fought very well this evening.
Thank you very much.
All right. What's going to happen, Don? It seems as though he's turning over his future to you. Hold on. Listen to the question. Listen to the question a second. You got a lot of time. Okay. What would you advise him, and where do you think this will go?
Well, what he's doing the right thing. He said he'll fight anybody. He's not dodging anybody. Steve Cunningham is the #1 contender, stepped aside so he could do this unification. So he's going to go in there and take care of Steve Cunningham. He's going to fight him.
All right, congratulations, O'Neal. It's a great night for you.
Thanks for having me. Hey, stay tuned, baby. Bigger and better things. Going down in history, Hall of Fame.
Supernova.
Yo.
All right, Steve, back to you now.
All right, Jim, thanks very much. So O'Neal Bell is now the IBF, the WBA, and the WBC Cruiserweight champion. He has united this division with a ceiling of 200 pounds, the first to do it since 1988 when a guy named Evander Holyfield pulled it off. And then, of course, he went on to become an undisputed heavyweight champion. O'Neal Bell coming from behind to knock out Jean-Marc Mormeck. Here are the scores at the time of the stoppage. The judges' scorecards. Tommy Kazmarek had Bell ahead 87-84. Tom Schreck had Mormeck in front by 1 point, 86-85. And Steve Weisfeld had Bell up 86-84. So it was a split decision in favor of O'Neal Bell at the time of the stoppage. And the press row scores. Chuck Johnson from the USA Today had Bell up 86-85. Greg Leon from BoxingTalk.com had Bell ahead 87-84. And Franklin McNeil from the Newark Star-Ledger had Bell ahead 86-85. So that was a unanimous decision for Bell at the time of the stoppage. And Al Bernstein had an 87-85 at the time of the stoppage for O'Neal Bell. A great 7th round. Spectacular ebb and flow, back and forth, give and take. Really was a thriller. A stirring 7th round, the highlight of this particular contest. And before we continue our coverage from New York, let's take a look at what's coming up in the near future here on Showtime.
The greatest attack on American soil in modern times.
Showbox, the new generation, returns to the Showtime lineup on Friday, January 20th at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific with a 10-round bantamweight bout featuring Nonito Donaire versus Karin Hartunian. Also on the card, an 8-round lightweight fight between Tyrone Harris and Israel Hernandez. And we'll showcase more of boxing's rising stars on our show February 3rd at 11 p.m. On Saturday, February 4th at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, Showtime Championship Boxing is proud to present the 3rd chapter in the epic rivalry between Diego Chico Corrales and Jose Luis Castillo for the WBC Lightweight Championship. In May, it was Corrales by dramatic knockout on the 10th. In October, Castillo got his revenge via a 4th-round KO. Now they'll fight the rubber match. And the championship action continues March 4th at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific as IBF champion Jeff Left Hook Lacey battles WBO champion Joe Calzaghe to unify the super middleweight title.